So my talk is the global challenges in orthopedics, the new roles of SICOT. And of course, this looks trivial, but it's very important for any organization to think of the future and to think where we are, really. We have an executive committee which works over 3 years period, and these serve in 3 years terms. My Secretary General, Jochen Eulert, President-elect Maurice Hinsenkamp, Patricia Fuchs, Treasurer, and First Vice President Ben Sakur, and our past President Chad Smith. So we pretty much realized that we did have some problems, and I'll try to show you how we thought it out. We think we have big responsibility being a truly global society with more than 113 member countries. We reach out fairly large. We have a potential to reach out fairly large, but if we just sit in our own sites, we will not reach anywhere. So a number of initiatives have been working really to improve this also. So our institution is founded in strict bylaws with an executive committee, a board of directors, and an international council where each country have a member. And that forms the democratic decision-making body of SICOT. The global challenges are probably uniform to any orthopedic surgeon in the world. We have a big trauma burden, we have aging population, we have the problem of recruiting the best orthopedic surgeons, and to find the balance between generalized orthopedics and traumatology and now subspecialization. We have to use international tools to convey our knowledge, and we have to interact internationally to be on the top. At the same time, there is always areas in the world where education systems are lacking, where they don't have the economical power, and that's where we think SICOT is coming in as a proper organization, really to have outreach programs. The Western orthopedic medicine, the total orthopedic medicine of the world actually lacks evidence-based treatments. This is a problem really also compared to other medical disciplines, as I will document later. So we thought that we should make a number of strategic actions to improve and to modify our position in the world. We would like to go from champagne to science and try to solve things in many ways. First, improve business structure with a strict financial control, change in membership pattern, and a new relationship to other orthopedic associations. Friendship, we instituted the concept of friendship nation, and we also wanted to have attitude and communication with international health authorities like WHO. We wanted in total to improve the image of SICOT to be able to gather forces around this. We had the economical crisis just coming on, and we thought that we must do something for the industrial collaboration. We felt very bad in some years before 2008 with our industrial collaboration, also due to a poor image. Image could be suffering from lack of subspecialization, so we thought we should also introduce subspecialization in the society, subspecialization profile. All this should be have a background in constitutional changes. We really wanted to be international forum for education and research. So this gave us today's SICOT. So today's roles of SICOT is that we really have been working on these lines. We have instituted collaboration with national and international societies, and we have a Friendship Nation program, which you will see later on. Many of these societies work with us in exchanging symposia and in exchange of speakers at our meetings. Also, the subspecialty sessions are prominent now in SICOT with the participation of subspecialized societies, very important friends to have for a society which actually relies on free power, no salary to anybody. All of us work in our free time, and this is difficult to run the world with these resources. So we have to rely on exchange of knowledge. Our brand is to go outreach. This is the education centers where we have instituted a number of activities, and we have now 3 education centers running, one in Lahore, Sud in Egypt, and one in Moscow. Young Surgeons is a forum for SICOT is a real forum for young surgeons. We have a number of activities, exams, young surgeons committees, training meetings, and now also e-learning systems, which really should attract the young surgeons, and they do attract. I'll document that later on. We try to do evidence-based orthopedics both in practice and in attitude. I think the attitude is most important when you are a leader. You must demand an attitude of evidence-based knowledge whenever you hear a speaker. And this is something we can do from central site in a society. We have developed in this triennium a SICOT newsletter, which actually now reaches out to 17,000 contacts every month. And of course, this is an important tool, both powerful tool, which can create dissemination of knowledge, but also maybe be used with a profile of sponsorship also. So this is how we promote SICOT. International, young surgeons, subspecialized sections, global work perspectives, evidence-based knowledge, and then we really have Friendship Nation programs. You can see India, Japan, Russia, Belarus, China, and the Pan-Arab Orthopedic Association for the coming meetings, which are Dubai, India, and Brazil. But is that now working? Is it just hypothesis? I can show you this shivering graph, on how we actually managed with respect to membership. You can see the program resulted in increasing members here. You can see that we increased the membership, from new members, 200 up to 1,300 in 2011, actually showing that this change of attitude was beneficial. We introduced subspecialized sections led by world specialists. It's not complete, but we have a framework. We have a special function of these subspecialized sections to form scientific program, fellowships, postgraduate courses. They act as SICOT ambassadors, and they should also be the firm contact to subspecialized societies. And the way they can work is SICOT homepage, closed sections there. They can work with our scientific advisory committee and international council, and they have each a subcommittee where they can rule and be autonomous. The way of thinking, the way of changing attitude is also, it looks to be okay with respect to the number of submitted papers to our society. You can see that from Buenos Aires through Hong Kong to Prague now, we we have 100% increase in number of submitted abstracts during this triennium for our triennial congress, which we think is very successful. We have defined our education program with these entities. We have an education center which is defined as a center of excellence where we do have subspecialization, but it's in an area where there is a lack, a demand for orthopedic training. So we have all these subspecialties present, high quality services, and this attracts fellows which then get fellowships running there, maybe for 6 months, maybe for 1 year. At one point, they can also be transferred to a central SICOT center, and the central SICOT center can send SICOT ambassadors, and we have now also instituted a program to facilitate the travel of specialists from one center to the other centers, the so-called SICOT meets SICOT program. And the most important is that we have tried now also to put the costs of the running of these centers, actually looking at the cost of local teaching, the cost of travel hosting, etc. And we have got to a figure, you know, of 45,000 euro, which are the real costs, anticipated real cost for running such a center, and which can be target for future grant application. We started a suit center recently. This is a center just reflecting high number of elective cases, high number of trauma cases, serving 6 fellows per year, reaching out in the region where the fellows actually come from all these sources and go back. So this has provided us, these sorts have been applied to other sites and also our future sites. So we have now a price list of our activities where we have a good way of attracting sponsorship from the industry. Even the latest development, our disaster orthopedics program, it's limited, but it can also be financed for such an external funding concept. You know, we have these strategic events running all over all the time, and the Academy have been very kind to start worldwide thinking of this, and it ended up in our thoughts, of course, with our potential, limited potential, working through MEDICIN Sans Frontières, having a big group of people willing to go, and then for the teaching of emergency medicine, which we think is very important, we start on algorithms for intervention, and we have symposia and instructional courses running here. The basic thing is the aging of the population. This is a global problem, and many of you have seen this thousands of times. But nevertheless, it's also very relevant for orthopedic surgeons, because we must be ready to compete with other medical disciplines in documenting the benefits of our treatments. It's not just that we do our good job. We must be prepared also to fight the battle on the central health budgets. And we know we have a great potential. I mean, the industrial development of new treatment options is significantly increasing. The 510Ks are really increasing all the time, and this is just a depiction of new treatments over the years, you know, where they actually just demand equality, you know, for launching a new product is just equality. And this leaves us in a very difficult place, because equality is it can be debated a lot whether that's a good parameter and what kind of equality. We can also see from this development that we are getting more and more specialized, so how shall we really evaluate this in the future? So we have to rethink about what is the best knowledge, what knowledge equals the best treatment for the surgeon, for the industry, for the patient, for the healthcare providers. So this is the really question, who needs this real evidence-based knowledge? Certainly the industry is not always interested. They just want the 510K concept of equality because they just want to market it. The surgeons, maybe they want the best treatment, but not if they are satisfied with their own treatment. The patient, they just want to have confidence to the surgeon, so they don't go for special treatment. But the healthcare providers, of course, they go for evidence-based treatment. So I think it's very important when you are a society to realize this balance, and you should be conscious about this and provide the right forum for a presentation of the various treatments and for the debates. So you should really give this evidence-based attitudes compared to the other. We are not very good at that in orthopedics. This is a result of a search on randomized prospective trials comparing with other medical disciplines, and we are way back compared to others. Even when you look into to subspecialized groups in orthopedics, we are still only amounting to 30% of what they do in cardiovascular medicine. So we have a poor tradition, although we think we are good. We have a poor tradition, and we are not good enough, really. We are pretty much aware that testing the various treatment procedures in orthopedics is a very long-lasting concept. I mean, we cannot just do with randomized prospective studies, but we know they are important but have limited external validity. We must rely on multi-center studies and register studies as depicted here by Henrik Malkau. This goes for many of our concepts, but the question is whether there are other ways. I think this evidence-based treatment is not just to give the p-values and the level of evidence, but it's to give actually the situation, the precise labeling of various treatments and where we actually lack sufficient information. So this can be done by managing the program of the conferences, by having special attitudes, by all invited lecturers. We ask them to give the evidence base of what they are talking about. And then, of course, we also believe that SICOT, as other societies, can give some guidelines, evidence-based guidelines on their websites. We must be prepared, of course, to cope with the shocking news of equivalence, which actually can disturb a lot in our societies. But I'm just coming to the key point of my thoughts on how to evaluate the treatments, because we know that the actual treatment cost of an orthopedic disease is not only limited to the in-hospital expenditure, but also to the income, loss of income, and to the rehab, later contacts to doctors. All this have to come into one box and be evaluated and compared to the changes in life quality. So this is the so-called cost effectiveness evaluation, where we can see whether a treatment is cheaper, improve the life quality or not. This makes us able to discriminate between cost effectiveness and non-cost effective. And in this way, we actually can depict, for instance, here that circumferential fusion, which gives a larger burden on the department, takes 1.5 hours longer. That's really much more cost effective. That's really cost effective compared to posterolateral fusion, where you can just do many cases saving money. So we must put orthopedic surgery on this league table, which is a kind of ranking score of various treatments, where we actually now have a fairly good position of total hip arthroplasty and surgery for disc herniation. But we want, you can see here the fusion over conservative treatment, I mean, is very, very expensive, and we want to move our treatments up in this area. For instance, the 360-degree fusion is bringing us into category 1, where we have the lowest cost per gain quality. As a national project in Denmark, we are running both rehab, both new regeneration things, both a number of surgical treatments, fusions, cancer treatment, metastasis treatment in 11 randomized trials on cost effectiveness. But we know there will be many questions in the future. Regenerative medicine is coming there. We have many new tools in regenerative medicine, playing with nanoparticles, stem cells, bioactive molecules, and SERMA. This is the kind of breakthrough technologies which are there now and are being used now in preclinical testing all over the world. So we must be aware that very soon we will get implants containing a more human way of gene therapy, which don't have so many side effects. So this will make us able to do new tissue formation. This is a concept of having tissue engineering with controlled release of various substances, where you actually can have closing of the vascularization, increasing vascularization, growth of bone, growth of cartilage, growth of fat tissue, whatever you want. And this works. This is just recent publications from our group on this particle functionalized tissue engineering, where we also are able now to differentiate stem cells into either bone, cartilage, and so forth. They would have a value in biphasic tissue engineering, where we can do better reconstructions in the future. Also in the treatment of cancer, we can actually both close down the cancer with closing the vascularization, and we can have other kinds of direct chemotherapeutic approaches with these scaffolds. So, to conclude these attitudes with respect to the society, we realize that the roles of such a society as SICOT is really closer partnership between major national and specialized orthopedic societies. We must maintain and improve our subspecialization profile. We must move also into trauma care, advocacy, disaster orthopedics, and prevention. And I shall introduce my guest speaker in a little while, who is along these lines. We move along with our outreach programs, and we will stay on evidence-based orthopedics, and we must go for health economics. So we foresee the potential breakthroughs in the next decade. We will see an improvement in global education and research networks. We shall see improved trauma care logistics. We will see new drug delivery systems which will make us able to combat arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, maybe to repair bone and cartilage, to control cancer, and to regenerate, in a broader context, the musculoskeletal system. Clinical research must focus on cost effectiveness of our procedures, primarily conducted in RCT trials, but there are many tools now in health economics which makes it able to have big groups of treatment and compare that to control groups, both healthy and diseased patients. We have data for more than 20 years and more than 6 million patients in databases now. So improved national registries for orthopedic implants demand also an accident prevention. Again, I'm from Aarhus. My research group, I owe them a lot. Probably the only reason why I stand here. And I want now to introduce the second element of my guest speech. It's Dr. Dieter Koch from the Parliament of EU. And please, can you please enter the scene? Maybe he went out. Yeah, please, come on. This is a prominent patient. This is a prominent, you are a prominent guest to have here. You know, you fit very nicely in our thoughts about how to do things better. Your career is unique. You have been in the Parliament for 20 years. And you are an engineer, so you understand the techniques. You have been awarded many honorary posts in the European community throughout all these years. So thank you very much for coming, and we will enjoy your talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation, but I prepared my speech in my mother tongue, in German, and so I will speak German. Sorry. Meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, Teilnehmer am Weltkongress SICOT 2011, hier in der goldenen Stadt Prag. Sehr geehrter Herr Präsident Cody Bunger, herzlichen Dank, dass Sie mir auf unbürokratischem Weg die Möglichkeit eingeräumt haben, hier zu Ihnen sprechen zu können. Ich tue dies aus 3 Gründen. Erstens, ich will Sie informieren. Zweitens, ich will zuhören und etwas lernen, um Ihre Anliegen, Ihre Interessen sachgemäß in Brüssel vertreten zu können. Und drittens will ich mich Ihnen als Gesprächspartner anbieten. Gern werde ich Ihre Stimme in Europa. Ein europäischer Raum der Straßenverkehrssicherheit 2011 bis 2020, darüber möchte ich sprechen. In wenigen Tagen wird das Europäische Parlament über meinen Initiativbericht zu diesem Thema abstimmen und ich hoffe auf eine breite Zustimmung. Dann müssen endlich Taten folgen, nicht nur von Seiten der Europäischen Union. Zur aktuellen Situation. Mobilität ist das Fundament für unseren Raum des Friedens, des Wohlstandes, der Sicherheit und der Freiheit, ist der Grundpfeiler des Binnenmarktes. Die EU kann nicht für die Lösung sämtlicher Probleme zuständig sein. Verkehrssicherheit, übrigens den Luft-, den Schienen-, den Schiffs- und den Straßenverkehr betreffend, ist jedoch ein typisches Thema für Europa. Besonders die Aspekte der Sicherheit auf europäischen Straßen sind nach wie vor ein weitreichendes und schwergewichtiges Thema für die Europäische Union. Trotz erheblicher Fortschritte auf der Basis des 3. Aktionsprogramms für Straßenverkehrssicherheit der Europäischen Kommission wurden bei Unfällen auf unseren Straßen im Jahre 2010 mehr als 35.000 Menschen getötet. Das entspricht dem Absturz von 250 mittelgroßen Flugzeugen. Und 1,5 Millionen Menschen wurden zum Teil schwer verletzt. Dabei ereignen sich ca. 55% der tödlichen Unfälle auf Landstraßen, 36% in städtischen Gebieten und nur 6% auf Autobahnen. Die wichtigsten oder die wenigsten in den Abschnitten, die keine starre Geschwindigkeitsbegrenzung haben, was kaum jemand glauben will. Fußgänger, Fahrrad- und Motorradfahrer sind besonders gefährdet, während die öffentlichen Verkehrsmittel als am sichersten gelten. Die Folgekosten dieser Unfälle werden mit 130 Milliarden Euro jährlich geschätzt. Das menschliche Leid bei solchen Tragödien ist hingegen nicht bezifferbar. Trotz dieser Zahlen herrscht bei uns Europäern immer noch eine relativ hohe gesellschaftliche Akzeptanz oder Toleranz gegenüber Straßenverkehrsunfällen. Dabei kann jeder von uns morgen zu den Opfern gehören. Jeder von uns kann und muss deshalb auch ganz persönlich zu mehr Sicherheit für sich selbst und für die anderen Verkehrsteilnehmer beitragen. Der Mensch, noch immer Risikofaktor Nummer 1, hat eine Mitwirkungspflicht. Missachtung von Vorschriften, Selbstüberschätzung, Alkohol-, Drogen- und Medikamentenmissbrauch sowie Fahrfehler sind nur einige der Hauptursachen. Doch auch Fahrzeug- und infrastrukturrelevante Aspekte gehören zu den Unfall- und Verletzungsursachen. Hieraus wird deutlich, dass sich Straßenverkehrssicherheit als eine gesamtgesellschaftliche Aufgabe darstellt. Straßenverkehr kennt längst keine Grenzen mehr. Ein integrierter Ansatz betreffend Fahrzeug, Infrastruktur und Verkehrsteilnehmer ist notwendig, wobei sich neue Herausforderungen für Bergungs- und Rettungskräfte stellen. Sie resultieren unter anderem aus der Verwendung neuartiger Materialien wie hochfester Stähle, aus immer ausgeklügelteren Sicherheitsausstattungen, ich denke an eine Vielzahl von Airbags und vor allem aber aus neuen Antrieben wie die der Elektro-, der Gas-, der Hybridtechnologien. Die Leitlinien der Europäischen Union zur Verkehrssicherheit auf europäischen Straßen sind ein erster Ansatz für eine nachhaltige Verbesserung der Straßenverkehrssicherheit. Nun müssen diese Ansätze zu einem vollwertigen, einem 4. Aktionsprogramm weiterentwickelt und umgesetzt werden. Dabei bedarf es eines solchen Aktionsplanes zur Erhöhung der Straßenverkehrssicherheit natürlich nicht nur auf europäischer Ebene, auch nationale Aktionsprogramme, Deutschland geht hier mit gutem Beispiel voran, und die Mitwirkung von regionalen und lokalen Behörden, von Unternehmen und jedes einzelnen Verkehrsteilnehmers sind gefragt. Dafür sind jedoch verlässliche Definitionen, wissenschaftlich fundierte, qualitativ hochwertige Daten und Statistiken notwendig, die die Möglichkeit bieten, Unfallhergänge und Verletzungsursachen zu analysieren und Vergleiche zwischen den Mitgliedstaaten der Europäischen Union hinsichtlich der Zahlen von Verkehrsunfällen, Verkehrsopfern, Verletzungsauswirkungen auch zu ziehen. Eine diesbezügliche Ausschreibung zur Förderung von Straßenverkehrssicherheit läuft gegenwärtig und ich denke, es ist eine gute Idee, wenn Sie sich daran beteiligen, sodass SICOT vielleicht eine Ausschreibung gewinnen kann. So sollten auf der Grundlage wissenschaftlicher Erkenntnisse in einer multidisziplinären Zusammenarbeit unter anderem europaweit harmonisierte Definitionen von lebensgefährlich, schwer und leicht Verletzten erarbeitet werden. Erst danach wird es möglich sein, einzelne Maßnahmen zu evaluieren und zu bewerten, sowie kohärente, ganzheitliche, integrierte Ansätze zur Problemlösung zu finden. Um alle erfolgversprechenden Maßnahmen effektiv umsetzen zu können, fordert das Europäische Parlament die EU-Kommission auf, in ihrem Verantwortungsbereich das Amt eines Koordinators für Straßenverkehrssicherheit zu schaffen. Heute sind verkehrssicherheitsrelevante Gesetze in den verschiedensten Generaldirektionen wie Verkehr, Wirtschaft, Umwelt, Verbraucherschutz, Soziales, aber auch Binnenmarkt angesiedelt. Nicht immer sind sie aufeinander abgestimmt und ergänzen sich sinnvoll. Der Koordinator soll dieses Defizit beseitigen und EU-Aktionen mit den Mitgliedstaatlichen koordinieren dürfen. Ferner muss nach Auffassung des Europäischen Parlaments eine EU-Beobachtungsstelle für den Straßenverkehr geschaffen werden, die auch Datensätze aus bestehenden Datenbanken und Projekten, wie beispielsweise SafetyNet oder Dakota, bündelt, aufbereitet und aktualisiert. Nicht in jedem Falle führt schon ein europäisches Gesetz zum notwendigen Erfolg. Deshalb muss die Kommission den Austausch bewährter Praktiken forcieren, damit diese stärker in nationale Verkehrssicherheitspläne einfließen können. Auch hierzu läuft eine Förderausschreibung. Die Europäische Charta für Verkehrssicherheit ist ein bewährtes Element, dessen Nutzungspotenzial noch bei weitem nicht ausgeschöpft ist. Ähnliche Chartas sind auch auf nationaler, regionaler und lokaler Ebene erfolgversprechend. Weiterhin ist eine konsequente Harmonisierung der Straßenverkehrszeichen und Regeln, wie es das EU-Parlament anregte, bis 2013 durchzuführen. Die Einhaltung wird verstärkt, diskriminierungsfreie Kontrollen, vor allem in den Bereichen Geschwindigkeitsübertretung, Alkohol- und Drogenmissbrauch und der Anschnallpflicht erfordern, sowie eine grenzüberschreitende Strafverfolgung zulassen. Als eine Maßnahme der Durchsetzung der geltenden Vorschriften spricht sich das Europäische Parlament für die verpflichtende Einführung von Alkoloks in bestimmten, vor allen Dingen in schweren Nutzfahrzeugen, als Maßnahme der Reintegration und der Rehabilitation für auffällig gewordene Pkw- und Motorradfahrer aus. Die Themen lebenslanges Lernen sowie die Überarbeitung der Sozialvorschriften im Straßenverkehr spielen eine zentrale Rolle. Über konkrete Schritte zur Einführung des elektronischen Notrufs eCall wird morgen diskutiert werden. Die verpflichtende Einführung von Fahrerassistenzsystemen bzw. intelligenten Verkehrssystemen ist beschlossene Sache, nur die Zeiträume sind noch nicht festgelegt. Eine regelmäßige Erfolgskontrolle sowie die Halbzeitbewertung des auf 2020 auszulegenden Aktionsplanes sind hilfreich. Auch der Spielraum für legislative Maßnahmen auf EU-Ebene wurde noch nicht ausgeschöpft. Es bedarf einer ergänzenden und langfristigen Strategie, die die Vermeidung aller Todesopfer, Vision Zero, im Straßenverkehr zum Ziel hat. Lassen Sie uns gemeinsam unsere Straßen zu einem sicheren Ort machen und dabei die Aspekte der Nachhaltigkeit, also Sauberkeit, Umweltverträglichkeit, Energieeffizienz, nicht vergessen. Schließlich wird Mobilität mehr und mehr zum Grundbedürfnis jedes Menschen. Ich will sie sogar zum Grundrecht aller Bürgerinnen und Bürger werden lassen. Basis für Wirtschaft, für Wohlstand und gesellschaftliches Leben ist sie allemal. Der zur Abstimmung vorgelegte Initiativbericht des Parlaments, für den ich stehe, ist seit gestern in allen europäischen Sprachen auf der Website des Parlaments nachzulesen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit.
Dankeschön.
Es war leider, dass wir nicht ein englischer Referenz, aber but we actually show that there is a website for the European Parliament which describes this initiative and how it's conducted, how it's evaluated. I can just thank you very much for coming, and we will turn to the website. Thank you all for being here, and hope you have a good day in the program. Yes. Thank you.